Hello everyone, and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book that was a little, I don't want to say outside my comfort zone, but definitely outside my knowledge zone, but I found very, very interesting and I wanted to share with you guys. And that is How I Make Photographs by David Yarrow. So I really enjoy looking at books of photography. I recently reviewed a book of photography from Antarctica. I find it really, really interesting, really fascinating. But I would not consider myself as someone who's well educated with photography, and I also would not consider myself well versed in being able to talk about photography. But talking about art and being able to talk intelligently about art is something that I want to improve upon, and that's why I'm reading books like this. So I figured, well, this book tends to be more geared for maybe people who are photographers looking to up their game. I could learn something about this and learning how a photographer puts together his photographs, so then I could learn maybe what I was supposed to be looking for in a photograph, if that kind of connection makes sense. Sadly, I am actually not familiar with David Yarrow before reading this book, but again, I'm not really in the photography world, I guess you could say. I'm not like following the newest, hottest people. So that's on me, if anything. Definitely not me trying to knock David Yarrow, because the first thing you notice when you open this book is this is clearly a master. This is part of the Masters of Photography course, and they picked their man correctly who wrote this book. This was a master. He is very clearly incredibly skilled and does a really good job with his work, and that's immediately apparent when you open this book. No doubt in your mind that this is truly a master at work here, and they've got together a very interesting and competent person to write this book. So even from my untrained eye, it's very clear that David Yarrow is very, very well educated. He knows what he's doing. He's perfected his craft and he's doing a great job of it. It's exactly what I thought it says and exactly what the title says, How I Make Photographs. The author takes a kind of conversational approach to the book, and he talks kind of about how he got into photography, mostly as a way to go to sporting events, which was kind of how he got into it. He, however, decided to switch to the financial banking world for a little bit. And while he was making a lot of money there, he was not particularly happy, and he noticed that his real bliss was with photography. So he eventually made the switch following the 2008 financial crisis, as his world ceased to exist as he knew it, and he has been doing this ever since. And he has clearly improved, increased. He's very, very good, and that's something you can tell immediately upon taking this book. He then goes through not necessarily the equipment he uses, but some things he looks for as he goes into a photograph. So this title, for example, is Eye Contact, and they're very short chapters and they're filled with lots of examples. We have composing an image, and here he clearly is talking, or his target audience is people who are already familiar with photography. So in some instances I was a little confused. There was a lot of terminology and some words and phrases that I wasn't really familiar with, but I feel like anyone who is a photographer would be familiar with. And also I think that even if you aren't, the rest of the book is still applicable for you, so don't get turned off if you come across a phrase that you don't understand. I just moved on, and I feel like I still gained quite a bit from this book. So I liked his conversational tone. I like the way he broke it down into very simple things to look for in a photograph, and he even included a section at the end which I didn't think he would talk about, which is kind of like how you run a photography business, how you make money, or how he makes money from photography. So if you're really interested in turning what you're doing into a business, you are able to get some professional tips from the author of this book. Additionally, I like that he didn't ever take like a condescending tone or a really rude he didn't look down upon other people, whether they were amateurs or whether they were people who he disagreed with, the way they would take a photograph or the way they would compose things, which I feel is really the mark of someone who's really confident in their work and knows that they're doing their best. He doesn't have to talk down to you. He doesn't have to be condescending. He doesn't have to dismiss your view or the way you choose to do things. He just knows what works for him, and he's sharing that with you. And you never get the feeling that he's being a little holier than thou in the entire book, which I feel like could have been a risk by someone who's so good going in, being like, well, this is my method and it's clearly good because I'm doing it and I'm really good, and you better do this or your work isn't going to be great. I never felt like he took a very condescending tone throughout the book, which is very, very refreshing. And because sometimes I feel like, and this is just me, an outsider, someone who doesn't have a lot of familiarity with art, I have a great appreciation for art, but not a lot of ways to talk intelligently about art or really know a lot about art or the art world, is I feel like sometimes there's a lot of attitude, there's a lot of condescension, there's a lot of opinions in the art world, and I feel like sometimes you can get that in these sort of books, but this one was very, very competent, competently written without being very condescending. And I feel like he balanced that line very well, and it's because you know that he knows that he's good. He feels confident in himself and his work, that he doesn't have to be rude or deride the way someone else is doing their work, because he's doing his best work and he knows he's doing it really well, which I thought was really, really interesting and really, really well done. So I really recommend this book, whether you are a photographer yourself, you want to become a photographer, or you're just someone like me who likes to appreciate photography and was looking for a little something to learn more about photography from. This is a book for you. It's really good. I did want to share my favorite picture. All the pictures in here are fabulous. All of them are really, really great. And now I'm not gonna be able to find it. Maybe not. Yes, it is. This one. This is my favorite picture of all time. Loved it. This was my favorite one, but let me rephrase this. Every picture in this book is really, really good, really, really well done, and I really enjoyed it. So I think you would enjoy it too. Please get this out. Please read this. Please check it out if your library. And I think you will gain something no matter who you are or how you relate to photography. I think you will gain something from this book. There are also other books in this series. As I mentioned, this is from the Masters of Photography series. So there's at least 2 other books as indicated down here. If any of these are interesting to you, then yeah, give them a read. Check them out. Get them up from your local bookstore. Do what you need to do, because I think if this book is good, then I'm assuming other books in the series are also good. Thank you for watching up to this point. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.